I should have finished disconnecting everything else. Oh, hey, and hopefully Restream has it working now to where we should also be live on YouTube this time. And, well, seems like I'm live everywhere because now my phone is going off. Oh, so much fun. Hey guys, and welcome to tonight's QA Wednesday. My name is Robin Bull. I am a professional writer with 8 years this month experience and hot mess. And more specifically, this week, I feel like the struggle bus driver. Certainly been a week. Our 12-year-old has his very first sprained ankle, which he managed to do at school, being that he is nonverbal and has developmental delays. Learning to use crutches has certainly been, I'd say it's been an adventure, but that's probably putting it lightly. Wouldn't you say it's putting it lightly? Yeah. My husband is home this evening as well. His computer doesn't exactly have a, bless you, doesn't have a computer, or I'd invite him to join in, although I could probably send you a link for your phone if you wanted to join, but you'd have to go to another room so there's not feedback for the mic. Apparently Athena's going to join us. Bean Bean the Wonder Dog. Say hello, Bean Bean. Are you wanting an invite? Or are you just going to stop Athena? Okay. So, but I'm your host, and I am, like I said, I'm a professional writer with 8 years of experience, and it's QA Wednesday. If you're new to this, I answer questions that are asked about freelancing, working from home. You can follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/beabetterfreelancer, or you can, if you're a writer, join my free Writers Work From Home Success Group. There is the link on the screen. You can also, sounds like the other dog wants in. Follow me on Twitter at the Robin Bull. Same thing on Instagram. I'm pretty easy to find on social media. Bean Bean the Wonder Dog here kind of likes to. All the dogs are trying to join in the fun. Telling you, there's a reason why I feel like today's just a giant hot mess this entire week, really. Join in on the fun, just wherever. If you have questions for today, you can actually join in via Restream by connecting your Facebook account. Just go to chat.restream.io/FB and the question will appear on my end. I did get a question to answer. Go ahead and answer that first, and then I am going to talk about the couple of different scams that I ran across over the last week on Upwork. So the question I was asked came from a new freelancer from Upwork, and it has to do with dealing with hourly contracts, tracking your time for hourly contracts via Upwork. How do you do that? So once you accept an hourly contract from Upwork, it will show up in your Upwork timer. So the first thing you need to do is make sure that you download the Upwork timer app from Upwork. And once you get that installed on your desktop or your laptop computer, or both, I have it installed on my desktop and my laptop. You will launch the app and log in using your Upwork credentials. And then you will see a list of your active contracts. You can change it to where only your hourly contracts show up. Depending on, there used to be a time in the older days of Upwork where a lot of us cared how many hours showed up, because this was back when Upwork was Odesk. Some clients actually cared how many hours that freelancers seemed to have worked on the platform. And so even though we had flat rate projects or per word projects or whatever, we would actually track our hours through the app, not because we were paid for those hours, but strictly because we wanted those hours to show up on our profile. I don't really think that matters so much anymore for a lot of people, but you could still kind of do that if you wanted to. So that's an option, but for flat rate stuff. But for hourly stuff, it's really simple. You just choose the hourly contract. I have several hourly contracts. And so for one of the law firm contracts, for example, that we do weekly, it has a time limit on it. And so because we have different blog posts each week that we're working on, usually 3 or 4 different ones, I will change the memo. And then looks like my blind dog is also going to try to get on this couch. Should be a good time because I have 2 other dogs up here right now. So then typically what we want to do is maybe Athena and I will move to the other couch.
Come here, Panda. I'm trying to get her.
Well, I don't know that she's going to move. Come on, guys, let's move to the other couch. So typically what happens is once you choose your contract, you change your memo. You can also tell it if you want to get a reminder. Can maybe mean after every hour or every 4 hours or 8 hours, or if you don't want to get a reminder at all. If you are working on a project that only has so many hours, even if you don't set up a reminder, if you get close to the limit of hours that your contract has, Upwork will send you an alert to let you know, hey, your time is almost up. So what happens with an Upwork hourly contract is that it's going to send you screenshots it's going to take screenshots of what you're working on every 30 minutes or every 10 minutes to 15 minutes. And so be aware of that. It used to be when it would do that, not only would it take a picture of your desktop, what you're working on, it would want to take a picture using your webcam as well. So I don't know if that's standard anymore. It seems like when I went to set it up to help a friend get her set up, I don't think that was like a standard setting. But if you go to set that up on yours and you're using a laptop with a built-in webcam, you have a couple of options. If you go under settings, you can just turn that off. I have mine defaulted to off because, as a lot of people know, because I've even written about it, I don't like apps that do that. But if you have a hard time turning that off and you have a camera cover, just turn it off. So it's just a couple of options that you have, but just remember when you're done with your project to turn your timer off. So that's what I do. And then the other thing that I happen to do, because I'm an LLC, is I will take that time that is billed through Upwork and I put it into Zoho invoicing. And for those that do not know, just this year, I'm going to sit back a little bit since Athena and I changed positions. Okay, sorry guys. Is Zoho invoicing is now free for all small businesses. So if you're looking for an invoicing program, you could use that. And so I use that to keep up even with my Upwork invoices. And the reason that I do that is because I have a CPA, and so it makes it easier for her to go through and help me with my taxes every year and to keep up with my expenses, which includes that 20 to 5% that Upwork charges me for those contracts. And so, for the newer contracts, you're charged 20%. But as you work longer with your clients, I prefer the other couch because, as you can see, there's a glare. There we go. You guys are just going to be blurry to me. As you work with on these contracts for longer periods of time, that contract amount tends to go down. So, for example, once you hit that magic $500 mark, then the 20% goes down to 10. And then once you hit, I'd have to look it up for sure to be able to tell you, it goes from 10% to 5%. Most of my clients right now, with the exception of I think 2 on Upwork, are at 5%. So it's really beneficial to make sure that you keep up good relationships to work towards those long-term contracts. So thanks for the question. If you have any more questions while we're on, make sure you head to chat.restream.io/FB, or of course from the Facebook page, facebook.com/beabetterfreelancer, or hopefully this is streaming properly through YouTube tonight. So either through the live YouTube or once I get this uploaded later to YouTube, you guys can always drop your questions there. And again, if you are a writer, you can always join the free Facebook group for that. So the other thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about was a couple of people attempting keyword to run scams on Upwork that I've ran into the last couple of weeks. Actually, I think they were both in the last week. So it happens to everybody at some point. Doesn't mean you have to fall for it. So my husband Danny and I, we were going somewhere and I don't remember where. It might have just been to the store or something. I don't think it was do you remember where we were going?
I don't know what we're talking about. I'm sorry.
That first scam that person tried to send me on Upwork. And I was like, oh, hey, look at this. Yeah, we were just going to the store or something.
The one that said they were in America but weren't.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So we were just headed to the store and it looked like a really interesting offer, and it was an invite. And the nice thing about invites with Upwork is if you accept them and everything goes well, you get free connects. And it looked like it was from BetterHelp. And so if you don't know who BetterHelp is, they offer online mental health resources like online therapy and things of that nature. And I thought, wow, that would be really cool. So I accepted the invitation because that sort of writing is something that I'd been thinking about, venturing out into. So I accepted it. And at first, I didn't really do my due diligence on the job preview at first glance. I really wasn't paying that much attention to it. Like I said, we were in the middle of like going to the store, doing something. I wasn't paying that much attention. I sent a really quick response that basically said, hi, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm excited to learn more about what your needs are. Just something real short, real sweet. And I think I said something to the effect of, let me know what your average turnaround time is, and signed off on the response. And and then I looked up at the top in the little chat, because if you use Upwork, then you already know this. But in the message at the top, you can see that person's time zone. And for me, it's beneficial because I have clients who are, from different parts of the world. And then, of course, scattered across the United States or whatever. So for me, that's beneficial. And it said United States. Well, for me, being in Oklahoma, it was like 4:30 in the afternoon. And it said United States, but it said 11:30 at night. And it's real time. And there was nowhere in the US that it could have been 11:30 at night, because I'm Central Time Zones. So in the US, the latest it could have been is an hour ahead of me. And the earliest it could have been, Danny and I were talking about it, was I think 2 or maybe 3 hours behind me. So at the earliest, we were thinking maybe 1 o'clock in Hawaii, 1:30, and or 2:30. But 1:30, 2:30, but nowhere could it have been 11:30 at night, because it was only 4:30 our time. You're adorable, and yes, you steal the show every time, but it is not being happy showtime. Hot mess. She's so cute. But so that was red flag number 1, but I didn't think a whole lot about it, because I thought, okay, well, maybe I wanted to give it the benefit of the doubt. And I was like, okay, well, maybe they've got somebody trying to set this up for them who chose United States, because BetterHelp is based in the US, but maybe the person is not. But I just left that alone until I got the response. And this person, y'all, I'm not one to be trifled with this nonsense. I am just not, like, anybody who knows me knows that, like, I'm not the one. I'm not the one online off. Do not test me. Do not try me. So I get this response back probably 10, 15 minutes later, and it was, oh, kindly send us your writing samples or something like that. Tony Jenkins, I don't remember, it had a little number after it, at gmail.com. And I was like, no. Oh no. So I fired off a not so nice email. It wasn't inappropriate. Or not email, but message. It wasn't inappropriate because let me tell you guys something. Like, one screenshot is all it takes to ruin your reputation. So, and it essentially just said, taking outside of Upwork as far as negotiating this contract would be against their terms of service, because you start negotiating with someone that you meet on Upwork, you have to finish it there. So I screenshotted everything and I went to Upwork help through Twitter because I learned something important. I did not know, and I withdrew and I blocked them because I did not know, though, that after you block them, I didn't know that you could still go back to the job proposal or the job listing itself. You go into archived proposals and you can still pull up that job and report it, which is what Upwork had me do. So, but I went to look at it, and here are the red flags, of course. If it were BetterHelp, why wouldn't they have been an enterprise client? Because BetterHelp is like a big name, right, in that space. So there's issue number one. But again, I was mobile at the time, so I wasn't paying like super close attention like I would have been, right, if I'd been at home. So number two, they had no verified payment method, which generally for a brand new entity or person on Facebook, I don't always go with that. Like, there are sometimes I won't always worry about that. Number three, they had no feedback at all. Again, I don't always worry about that, but we're talking like the whole thing, okay? Number four, remember that time zone issue and the fact that it said they were in the US, but there was no way it could have been 11:30 p.m. in the US when I'm in the middle of the US and it's only 4:30 p.m. my time. And of course, the biggest red flag, if they were with a major entity like BetterHelp, why do they want me to email them at a Gmail address? If it were legit, okay, wouldn't I be emailing whoever it is at betterhelp.com? Not that they would want to take it off Upwork, because it would be within their best interest if they're hiring a freelancer from Upwork to keep it on Upwork because of the provisions and the guidelines that Upwork has in place to even protect them as a client. So, I learned from Upwork support that even if you withdraw and block someone and let them know it's against Upwork's terms of service to take it off Upwork, because I've had some instances with people who just didn't know that they couldn't do that. And once I've informed them, hey, it's against Upwork's terms of service to take this entire thing off of Upwork unless you're going to buy out the contract. That, you can't do that. And once I've explained that to them, they were okay with it. So it's kind of crazy. So, and then earlier this week, I think it was yesterday actually, I was talking to Jamie. Jamie works with me. She's my graphic designer, one of my best friends. And so we were talking, and what happened there was I got another invitation through Upwork, and it seemed okay, except it looked like it was a brand new person, like a brand new business. And the job proposal itself looked fine, looked legit. I didn't worry about it a whole lot in that regard. It just seemed kind of weird. I went and looked at it first before applying, and again, it looked like a brand new entity. They didn't have a verified payment method. The job proposal read fine. It didn't seem to have any red flags. They only had the one posted, but they were only inviting people. It was an invite only type thing, which I've never really had any issues with. It didn't have a business name in it. Didn't seem like a big deal. I decided to go ahead and apply. So I did. And I guess it was probably an hour to an hour and a half later. I was checking my email and I had a reply. And so I jumped onto Upwork to look at it instead of just looking at it through my email. So I jump on there, and again, it was because I always ask questions in my proposals, even if it's an invitation, because when you ask questions in your proposals, that's how you're going to get people to talk to you. So I had asked questions because it was about investment writing and primarily proofreading, and it had talked about how it was supposed to be a certain number of hours, but pretty limited, except during their heavy period. And so I had asked about turnaround time again and how much in-depth knowledge was needed about these particular financial documents or what have you. And I don't know if you guys can hear my dog. She's over there slurping out of her giant bowl of water. So if you're hearing a bunch of like noise, that's what it is. So I had asked about those factors because I know some about financial documents, but I'd have to make sure that these things are going to be a mutual good fit. You know, my JSS means a lot to me, which if you're new to Upwork, that is your job success score. It takes, when you're first starting out, of course, you know, you need a few contracts to close out, which is why I've recommended recently to some newer freelancers, hey, if you have some good contacts, ask them to please, you know, can you close out one or two of your brand new contracts after everyone's happy, leave mutual good feedback, immediately propose a new contract. The 20% generally, I mean, unless the 20% will be there if you haven't already earned $500 from them. But as long as it's the same client, that 20% will keep going down, just so you know. But your job success score plays into you becoming things like rising talent, top rated, and eventually top rated plus if you're working with enterprise clients like I do. So anyway, so I got that email back and I jump on there to look, and it's another one of those, oh, well, if you just give us your phone number, this person I've never heard of with a totally made up name, because I've never met anyone with that weird name here in the US in my entire life, we will totally text you this information that you need. And I'm like, no, you won't. So I just went through the same process again. It was literally just, I told them, look, this is a violation of Upwork's terms of service. When you reach out to me on Upwork, we finish things on Upwork. And even then, my clients do not get my personal phone number. Very few of them do anyway. I do have a VoIP number that my clients typically get unless they are international clients. Then we go straight through the tools that Upwork provides for us, because Upwork does have a scheduling tool. Some of my international clients and I struggle with that. So I have a Calendly set up that we just use, and I work in time zones with that. And we use Skype or Zoom or Google My Business, Google Meetings, whatever we have to use to make that work. So that's kind of what we do there. So yeah, that was an adventure. And then once I got that sent and got them blocked, I just, like I said, went back for the first one. I went back to archived proposals, because once you withdraw your proposal, it goes to archived. Mine actually didn't go to archived right away under that one. It's still under active. And so if you don't see it under archived and you're trying to report it, which is going to be under flagged or flag job, make sure that you check both places, pull that up, go under flag job, choose a reason or choose other, and then explain why so that these people get taken off Upwork, because none of us should really have to be dealing with that. Okay. So, if you have any questions about freelancing, there's the chat.restream.io/FB. And I know it is streaming live on YouTube because I've already been spammed. Fun fact about Restream, though, apparently I can block spammers from Restream. Super neat. So, this lady in Texas, right? This teacher, Danny and I, we were talking about this. He's over here kind of giggling on the couch, actually. Like, oh my God, y'all. I about lost my freaking mind because I have 3 sons, okay? So, like, I've been, even pre-pandemic, right? It's like, I feel like I've been through it all. I've had kids with scarlet fever. Like, my kids, my older 2, man, they have been through some weird shit. Like, nobody's business, it seems like. Okay, so I can't tell y'all the stuff my kids have been through, and now especially working from home for the last 8 years. Okay, so and now working from home through a pandemic on top of it, right? And Uriel came home from school during Christmas break. We thought maybe he had COVID. We weren't entirely sure. Now we don't think he did, because then my husband got sick again. And so he went and got tested and he was negative. So now we think, no, that wasn't what happened at all, but didn't know. Uriel would be really, really hard, if not impossible, to test because since he's nonverbal and has autism, and he's a big kid for his age. His daddy is the size of a linebacker too. So the last time Yuri was tested for strep, that poor nurse. My husband's over there on the couch giggling. That poor nurse, that's really all I can say, that poor nurse. But him and the nurse are friends again. She understands. I mean, when you're dealing with children with developmental delays, like you got to have, God bless the medical system. Anyway, this lady in Texas, right? She's a teacher. I just wanted to start off with that, and she's a mom. And I understand like the teachers in the schools, right? They didn't sign up for this pandemic. They didn't sign up to teach through it, like in person, and to get sick and all this stuff. Like, they are not paid daycare. Like, I get that 1,000,000%. I understand. And from that perspective, they totally have my support. And I don't care what other people think. Like, y'all don't even want to know my opinion on daycare. You just don't. But anyway, anyway, so this lady who is a teacher who has a child, her child tests positive for COVID. And this is on the blog confessionsfromthecouch.com, by the way. I think I posted about this a couple days ago. Y'all can go there and read about this. And I put links in there to the actual news articles, plural. 2 news articles for you to choose from. Because one talks about how her community supported her because she's just such a good-hearted person. She takes her COVID positive child and just yeets him into the trunk. Boop. Because she didn't want to catch it. And I got feelings about this because you got to take him out of the trunk somehow. Sometime, some way. You can't just leave him there. Right? So I'm sitting here thinking, how the hell do you think you weren't going to get it? or get exposed to it at least, right? Because you got to get your kid out of the trunk, and he's still going to have it when you do. Like, what line of thinking is that about? Just throwing that out there. But she put her freaking kid in the trunk. And so I'm thinking here as a mom of 3, one of which has special needs and like can't tell me what happens at school. Would you trust this woman with your children, with your child, with your baby? I wouldn't. I would throw such a massive fit. I am like the last person most districts, school boards, like that is the one area, my children, where I will become a Karen for sure. I have literally sat in an office at a school. This was, oh gosh, he's 23 now. He was in 3rd grade, so he was 8 or 9. I literally sat in an office for hours until the principal agreed to see me and told her if she did not see me, I was calling the news. And this was years ago, obviously. So, that was a much bigger deal than it is now. And, yeah, would you guys trust someone like that? Like, do you consider that good-hearted, that someone would take their own child who is sick and puts them in a trunk? And, they say, oh, all kids want to ride in a trunk at some point. No, I never wanted to. And I don't think I'd ever want to, especially if I were ill. I don't know, man. I don't know. So, that's crazy. That's just nuts. So, anyway, that's really all I got other than this, the schools here where I'm at, they're starting to shut down at least temporarily. The biggest districts because of illness of the staff and the teachers, and there's just not enough support staff or anything to go around. But yeah. That's it. That's all I've got. If you have questions, you can connect your Facebook to chat.restream.io/FB. You can ask your questions that way. I am on every Wednesday. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm pretty easy to find there. I'm on there a lot, actually. I'm on Twitter way more than I'm actually on most other platforms. I'm at the Robin Bull. You can also like the Facebook page, facebook.com/be a better freelancer. I've been doing this, like I said, for 8 years, full time. And it's been a really great experience. I've been top rated on Upwork since they made that a program. And it's been great for me. I have clients both on and off Upwork, so I'm certainly happy to answer your questions. But it's really all I have for today. I think for everyone this week, it's kind of been a struggle bus ride. And then, of course, if you're a writer, you can certainly come and join us in the free Work From Home Success Group. We're there to help you guys out. It's facebook.com/groups/writers WFH Success. Certainly glad to have you there. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, make sure you find me online and let me know, and I'm happy to answer them even next week.